Sexy iPhones.
Yeah, so we're gonna do Eternals this episode, and we're gonna do some of the reveals that Disney Plus had this week. Probably dive into the Disney bit first, just because that's gonna be a nice short little intro, and then we'll dive into the Eternals. It was Disney Plus Day. It was the 1 year anniversary, and they had a nice, like a 14-minute long video that kind of summed up everything that Disney and Marvel have done so far. Like they did a recap of WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, Loki, What If. Had a really cool kind of preview for Hawkeye. That one scene of them in the car, that one continuous shot was pretty sweet. And and then we got peaks of Moon Knight, She-Hulk, and Miss Marvel. And what did we think about that?
Yo, that Moon Knight it's got a style to it.
I want She-Hulk.
I want
Miss Marvel too.
Yeah, I want all of it.
Yeah, it all looks good. I feel like
the She-Hulk teaser didn't give off as much of a vibe to me.
I like that butt shot though. Granted, it was a CGI butt, but still, looked good. I like seeing Bruce Banner in it. It kind of makes you wonder where in the timeline it takes place, because his arm is in a sling.
Yeah, that weird like 80s kind of like commercial thing.
Yeah, that like "Don't Make Me Angry." I'm like, is it like a nod to the show Incredible Hulk?
Yeah, I was just kind of disappointed because it definitely doesn't seem like it's going to be a courtroom drama.
Oh,
but maybe season 2.
Yeah, that we could hope.
I like the shot of her walking to a courthouse.
That was so riveting.
Yeah, power walk.
I hate that they changed the logo because I don't know if you guys saw the Twitter meme where like they have like the new one with like the She/Hulk, and like the caption was like, "These like pronouns are getting out of control."
Yeah, I saw that.
Or next level.
Oh man, I did not. Yeah, I did not see that. He, Moon Knight. I like Oscar Isaac.
He looks like he's acting up a storm.
I love his British accent.
Yeah,
they're doing with Mark Spector.
He's not British.
He's doing something wild. I don't even know what accent.
Mark Spector isn't British. I don't think he was British in the comic, but I like that he's kind of got like he sounds like he should be like a wacky teacher at Hogwarts.
He just sounds kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And I know Moon Knight's kind of crazy. My depth of knowledge is very not deep when it comes to Moon Knight.
I only read that Warren Ellis run. It was pretty cool.
That was good.
Who wrote the David Finch one?
Oh shit, I'm drawing a blank on that. That was crazy.
I read part of that because I remember the art was David Finchy, but
yeah,
I don't remember a single thing about it.
That's the crazy thing about David Finch?
Mm-hmm.
He draws like David Finch. It's really weird. But yeah, I mean, again, then Bendis did one where he had the multiple personalities. He was like Wolverine and Spider-Man. So I'm curious to see how Disney's going to dive into that.
Yeah. That's the kind of the one thing about Moon Knight that's always kind of like, I'll dip into like an issue, but it's like, I feel like there's no consistency to who the character is, kind of, which I think is part of the character now. So maybe this Disney Plus show will kind of lock it down.
Maybe that's like part of the charm of writing Moon Knight. It's like, you're not beholden to any intense continuity, but the Warren Ellis stuff, that was fucking great. I love it. Was just like the one, like the each issue was kind of self-contained but kind of wrapped up at the end, like his Secret Avengers. So no, that was really good. I'm excited to see more of the costume for Moon Knight. I think it's going to be a good time. Miss Marvel looks great too.
Yeah, I mean, I know we barely got any glimpse of any of these things, but I'm like, I just want more.
Yeah,
that's all I want.
It was a great tease, just enough to kind of tickle your.
They all come out super soon too, don't they?
Appetite.
Like Hawkeye comes out this coming weekend, doesn't it? For the first episode,
24th, right? If I'm not mistaken. I thought it was the 24th. We get 2 episodes.
Yeah.
I thought it was the 24th.
I know it's before Thanksgiving, so.
Oh, the 24th is before Thanksgiving, so that could
is
be it.
true. Let me use the old internet. When does Hawkeye come out? November 24th. You are correct.
Sweet. Yeah, that looks good. But I'm really excited about all of those titles they dropped. We're getting Marvel Zombies, Echo, which could be really cool. Echo, if I'm thinking of the right Echo from like the Daredevil comics, you know, she's like deaf.
Not the dolphin?
No, although that should get its own live action show.
Is that game really hard?
I think so. It's like a puzzle kind of game.
Yeah.
The original one I played on Sega Genesis way back when, and I remember like as a kid just kind of like bouncing around as a dolphin and being like, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but I'm definitely not playing this game right.
But that'll be kind of cool to see how she'll come into the series, whether she gets introduced somewhere else and then comes in. I'm really excited for Agatha, House of Harkness. That's kind of cool. She's getting her own show. That's really cool. I Am Groot.
I'm very excited for I Am Groot. Trying to got to get Max in there.
Guardians Holiday Special.
I love a holiday special.
Oh, who doesn't?
I know. That's why I'm so excited Hawkeye is like set during Christmas time.
Oh, yeah.
It's just the perfect thing to come out next week.
Give me them Die Hard feels. But you know what kind of hit pretty near and dear to my heart? X-Men 97, which is pretty rad because if you've been listening to the show, we had Eric and Julia Leewald about 2 or 3 episodes ago, and they writers and the main story editor for the show for the 92 series, and now it's back, and they're going to be I guess they're going to be consultants for the animated series, and then I would have loved to have seen him kind of get back in the saddle, so to speak.
The one thing I'm nervous about is if they if instead of being like a continuation of that show, like similar vibe and tone and like the heart of it, and it's just like whamp whamp, remember the 90s, we're gonna make 90s jokes, that would make me sad.
My understanding is that it is a continuation after season 5.
Well, it makes sense because 97's when it ended, right?
Right.
So it's kind of hopefully picking up.
Yeah, and I know the Leewalds kind of had a post about the final episode, and it said like to be continued, and you know, but it's cool that a majority of the cast is back.
That's awesome. That's huge.
That's very, very excited about that. From what I could gather from like the redesigns, it looks pretty cool. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe it says 97, but maybe it could be done in a way where you don't really know when it's taking place. If they don't just kind of make any big references.
If they just make a good X-Men show, I don't think anybody's...
Right. It's not going to be like, oh, man, that's such a Bill Clinton thing to say.
Looks into the camera.
I would love that.
Would you?
Are you kidding me? I would absolutely love that.
Cyclops.
Well, in the show, the president was a woman in season 1 of that show. So they were already doing their own thing politically, I guess. Not not keeping things
so
in the real world.
So, maybe that kind of limits to some of the cultural jokes they could make, like Trapper Keeper. What else was big in the 90s? They can't be
See? That's why we need this.
So we can remember the 90s. Who will remember the 90s?
I'm ready for Storm's chanting again, like rising winds.
Oh, God. That was so good.
I just want a badass Southern rogue. I want...
Oh, God. I love the voice, too. Her voice was so good. And dare I say, sexy in the show.
I mean, Rogue in that show was just like...
Oh, my God. Yeah. It's going to be great. I'm excited for Gambit's quote-unquote Cajun accent. But that got me so excited, especially after reading that book, But the Heart of the X-Men, and talking to the Leewalds. That's just a special place in my heart. I don't usually have context for creators, you know what I mean? So it's kind of cool. Hey, I talked to those guys once,
know.
and they were really
Connected
nice.
It's like,
Yeah.
what a convenient time for this to be announced with the
Yeah.
X-Men being so fresh on my mind. Having
It's
just
so-
gone back and watched like 10
Do you
episodes of that
think they
show.
knew about it?
I think our episode of that podcast, one of our under 100 views on YouTube
Yeah.
was the CEO of Disney.
That was
Yeah.
the catalyst.
No, it was kind of nice though, because after the news came out, I had a bunch of people text me and be like, dude, like the timing was kind of perfect. And I had no idea. Just kind of serendipitous how it worked out. I mean, it literally was just texting you guys. Should I ask them to be on the show?
Yes, you should.
Yeah, so it was cool how that worked out. So, and just being an X-Men fan already, especially of that show, I'm super duper pumped for what they got coming down the pipeline. And I guess it's going to be in 2022. So, got some time, and hopefully, and I'm sure it'll be worth the wait. I'm trying to think. Oh my god! And Secret Invasion.
Mm-hmm.
That clip of Nick Fury with the beard and no eye patch. I want to know what that's about. I want the context of that.
I feel like that's, in my head, Secret Invasion is like the culmination of like the first wave of Disney Plus things. That's how I feel like
You feel like
Or all scrolls.
or something. Like I just feel like that's got to be a culmination show. Like where
Yeah.
like all this stuff kind of leads into that.
it's going to be the Avengers of the
Kind of, or like
of the Disney Plus.
yeah, or like the Defenders of the Netflix shows. Kind of
We'll
like
get,
a
like-
What if it's like a
Yeah.
behind the scenes kind of thing where they like retell like all the major events and like they show who was a scroll at the time?
Ooh, that would be cool. Yeah, I don't know. I'm liking all
Thanos
these
was a
ideas.
Skrull.
I mean, he has a ball chin, so
Yeah, the real Thanos is actually a pretty nice guy.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Give it that. I'm liking all the ideas though, and especially if there's like a team up. Like if you get like Cap, Falcon, and White Vision, and Hawkeye, and Loki, and a animated Gamora.
Flag.
I want to see a live action Peggy Carter. Sorry, Captain Carter. I would be all kinds of down for that.
That's in 15 years, and we get the Secret Wars movie where
Yeah.
there's like a God King Doctor Doom, and there's every single MCU thing at that point after the 156th movie has come out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think that's I think that'd be a nice little kind of oh, actually no, sorry. I totally fucked up that segue, because I also want to mention Ironheart. I'm really excited that Ironheart's getting her own show. Apparently, her first appearance is in the Black Panther sequel, so we'll see her in Wakanda Forever. Then we'll see her in Ironheart, and pumped for Armor Wars,
Yeah, I
starring
just want some mech suits. Let's do it.
yeah, bring back Sam Rockwell from Iron Man 2.
I can't imagine that they wouldn't. That's like you have to. I mean,
You got that resource, and I love that, like, and they've already acknowledged that Marvel one-shot Return to the King is like canon because they addressed that during Shang-Chi. And Sam Rockwell was in the one-shot, so ergo vis-a-vis put him in the series.
Also, I mean, Sam Rockwell, like
Exactly.
name a more
what a talent.
marketable actor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, who do teenage girls have hanging on their walls now?
Sam Rockwell.
Posters of Sam Rockwell.
Yeah. He's on Teen Beat, Tiger Heart, Tiger Beat. All
But
that.
for real, I love Sam Rockwell.
Oh yeah.
I feel like we should get like Walton Goggins in there too. I feel like Sam Rockwell and Walton Goggins as like two weird lunatics working together could be
They're
fun.
Gems.
Okay, little side quest. So I work with a 16-year-old girl, and I was trying to explain to her what Tiger Beat was, because she, yeah, I felt real weird.
I don't even know how to like an
'Cause I was
easy way to explain. First off,
No, because it literally started with, so when your mom and I were kids, we had this thing called like Teen Beat or like Tiger Beat, where it was basically a magazine of pictures and like posters of like boys we thought that were cute. and then we can pull them out and fold out the posters and put them on our walls.
It's like
And she just stared at me.
It's basically
And
the
voice of
magic.
Mad magazine.
It's the magazine version of like an Instagram fan page.
Yep.
Pretty much. That's a great way to
That's
sum
all
it
we
up.
had.
Mm-hmm.
It was so weird.
Yeah.
Just our
But it's like, yeah, the
society
page
teaching
Posts 3
girls how
things
to
every
thirst.
month, and that's it.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, my Jonathan Taylor Thomas Instagram's not doing so hot, so.
What a dreamboat.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh
man.
man.
Oh man, indeed. All right, let's get into some
Devin
Eternals.
Sawa. Just throwing that out there.
Who the hell is Devin Shower?
I forgot that name existed.
Yep.
I've heard the name, but I don't.
Yep. I'm just
know.
I'm just taking you guys back there. If you want to be real authentic.
I gotta look it up. 'cause I forget.
Devin Sawa, Canadian actor.
Oh wow.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
that guy.
That guy.
Oh, he's in Little Giants. In Casper?
Casper.
Okay,
yeah.
that guy. Or who was the Brink guy? Eric Von Detten?
Mhm.
Was that his name?
Oh, he
I don't
looks
know.
No different.
Eric Von Detten. Dutton? Google doesn't even know. Oh yeah, that dude. That is a Tiger Beat guy right there.
Total tiger beat.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be. Let me see. I'm gonna save this. But yeah. Oh wow. So many.
Oh.
I'm overexposed. But yeah, where were we? Eternals.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to. I was trying to get to the. Yeah, we're gonna do our Returnals review.
Returnals.
Or Returnals.
Ah,
We're
Eternals.
returning, yeah, with the Revengers. I am really excited to talk to you guys about this because Eternals is the first rotten Marvel movie, and
Which is so bizarre for so many reasons.
so bizarre. A smear campaign.
I read some of these reviews and I'm like, did I not watch the same movie?
Yeah.
Some of it was just like, I thought it was just kind of mean. Like some of it was just like, I was like, oh, it's funny how the first real superhero movie with a diverse cast with like, gay characters kissing, and all of a sudden it's getting, I'm just saying.
That yeah, what? First off, I know people in this call were big fans of Black Widow, but to me, the idea that people loved that movie, or like that movie got praise and this movie is rotten, blows my mind. Blows my mind.
I get what you're saying, because I felt
totally
like
get what you're saying.
with Eternals, I felt like I was watching a film.
I was transported personally.
Yeah, this seems like the movie that people who don't like Marvel movies would like, and people who like Marvel movies would also like.
Yeah. I mean, you still had costumes, you still had special effects,
You had dudes
monsters.
shooting lasers out of his eyes.
Humor.
Yeah.
Like the lovable side character.
It was super funny. Every time Kumail Nanjiani was on screen, I was laughing.
Oh my god.
His butler
Absolutely.
or his chauffeur or valet, that's what he refers to.
Yeah,
But
but he.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm sorry. I just don't understand. I mean, the audience score is an 80, which that makes sense.
Yeah, but really, like when I look at the bad reviews, especially on Rotten Tomatoes, like, they use sentences like gorgeous and vacant. It's like, yeah, like so and they say things like, oh, they go above and beyond to assure representation for casting, and I'm like, okay, like,
Half the cast is white dudes, like,
yeah, well, yeah, but that's too many.
or not enough. What do you mean?
You get a black guy. You get a black guy. You get a Mexican lady.
You have a gay kiss. You have to counter it with like 50 white people.
So it's science. You have to balance.
Scales must be
Also,
balanced.
gorgeous and vacant. I feel like I'm at a casting call.
You gotta.
That was the critiques I got every time. Gorgeous but vacant.
So my one complaint about the movie is, like, I mean, I could probably nitpick, but I don't. I just liked the movie. My main thing is, Icarus and Cersei's like love connection. I feel like they didn't build up why they love each other. Icarus is just like, I love Cersei and I'm handsome.
He's like,
And
"Word."
she's like, and he's like, I'm yours if you'll have me. It's just like, was that his like first time talking to her? Like, and then all of a sudden it shows them like in love. It's like, but give me a little bit of
Let's get some
Yeah, I get, I
dialogue.
get, I get, I get
just
what
like
you're
a
saying.
scene where they're like, they're just, I guess when they're on the spaceship and they like talk to each other for the first time, like
Yeah, but
it's beautiful. But you could have said that to anything. Any
No,
of the two characters could have had that
they-
interaction.
They could have had like a little side mission that they had to do together where they bond.
Hmm.
Like maybe they're off saving a tiny village and there's like a storm and
Because
maybe-
I totally got Kit Harington's character
Absolutely.
and Cersei because
Dane Whitman.
they were like you see them hanging out
It
together.
Well, yeah, and just I think the chemistry was there. Their little
Mhm.
back and forth. Hell, even
They're both history nerds.
right,
Mhm.
but also the whatever was going on between Druig and
Makari.
yeah,
Hmm.
that had more
Exactly.
chemistry.
Yeah,
That
there was
made
like
more
subtext
sense.
there.
Exactly.
There was no subtext in the other one.
That's like I said, that's my main complaint. But like I loved Gilgamesh's and
Oh my
Thena's
God.
relationship.
Mhm.
I
Yes.
loved-
so much.
Angelina Jolie was great. In this.
She
and
was
I
great in
actually-
this.
She was
really
great in this,
was.
and I was actually surprised. I thought she was going to have a bigger role. It was an important role, but it wasn't like front.
Yeah, it
Front
wasn't
and
the
center.
Angelina Jolie movie.
Well, because in the posters,
Well, they
where
put
they
her
were
front
all,
and center, but like I loved that she was able to really work and be a part of an ensemble cast and like actually be a supportive character, which is just like
Yeah.
cool. It's
Yeah.
refreshing to see,
Hmm.
Mhm.
and I loved that. But like, yeah, the history buff in me like had a field day. I loved the little references and things that they
Mhm.
had in this, and when we reconnect with Makari and all the things she kind of like hoards.
yeah.
Like I was just like, oh my god, oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh
Like
my
there's
God.
what 10 Eternals?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and the fact that at the end of that movie, like I could remember like all of their names,
Mhm.
and they all had like defining characteristics. They're all unique.
Mhm.
Like I cared like all of their relationships you cared about for the most part. Like
Yeah.
I think that
No.
alone is like super
An
impressive.
achievement.
Yeah.
I think Chandler said it best. I think maybe Chandler, when you and I were texting about how like what else do they want? Like they managed to like have an
Yeah.
ensemble cast where,
Yeah, it's
where
hard
it
to
was
like write
all
10
even.
protagonists.
Yeah,
Yeah.
10.
Yeah.
And it
in 2
works.
hours. You know?
yeah.
Yeah, I loved. Here's the thing. I mean, and I'm not trying to show any disrespect to the other Marvel movies because you all know I'm a huge Marvel fan, but I did feel like I was watching a film. I think a lot of it because
It was shot
a
on
lot of
location.
exactly. The sets felt real, but I felt that the actors were really fucking acting. Like they really believed in the material that they were working with.
Mm.
And I love that just the question of, I mean, what's cool about this is that I would have been into this movie even if it wasn't tied at all to the Marvel universe. Cause I just love the idea of like a group of characters, exploring their humanity, having lived for, how
Mhm.
many,
They've been
thousands
here
of
as
years.
long as we have.
Yeah,
and,
like I just
yeah.
loved like how do you change over time? Do you change? How do you adapt? Like it was just I like that it kind of.
But also it wasn't tied to the MCU. Like this, they could have removed like 3 minutes of dialogue, and this could have been a completely like
Oh yeah,
just
The whole
say
Thanos
just
thing?
say the Thanos references is kind of it. And there's
Yeah.
like that Avengers joke at the kitchen table,
Right.
and just say the main Celestial isn't a Celestial, and boom, there you go.
Yeah,
Like
original movie.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's,
But
No.
it was a beautiful movie, and the scale of everything was
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
awesome, and I had a blast. I really, really, really had a good time watching that.
I was watching the movie, and honestly, there was a part of me, and maybe this affects my my take on the movie, but there was a part of me that kind of kept waiting for the other shoe to drop. Because I was thinking, okay, when is it going to start to suck? Like, when am I going to start to see
Yeah.
where all the hate is coming from? And you remember at the end, I was like, I liked it.
Yeah.
Like, I liked it. I mean, what? I don't understand. I was like, I liked it. I don't know. It was fine. it's a good movie.
Yeah, no, you not only had two men kissing, but you had two brown men kissing, and that was just I think that made a lot of people's heads explode. It made their heads explode.
Oh, and I'm sure there are like, America's right people being like, how dare he say that, bombing Hiroshima was, not the right thing to do. They were not worth saving.
Yeah, no, it's
they're out there though.
Of course.
No, but that stuff like in what's his name? The G one.
Gilgamesh?
No, not Gil. I forgot his name. The mind control guy.
Druig.
There's a G at the end of his name. Okay, that's.
You just said, "Oh, I know all the characters."
I forget. Leave me alone. But like the scene when they're in like what is it, like the Mayan temple or the Aztec temple, and Druig is just like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm sick of watching these people kill themselves and like walk away.
Yeah,
it's just like you like feel that because it's like you totally understand like the frustration of like having the power but not being allowed to do anything about it.
I have to say that actor who played Druig, because that was my least favorite character in the comics was Druig, and like he was my favorite in the movie. I totally felt him. I got him. I totally was just like, this guy. Yeah.
In the Gaiman run though, they definitely made him more of like almost like a villain sort of.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What? Yeah. He was almost kind of like a Russian like spy.
Yeah,
villain.
He was like a mobster type thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
He was a
like,
freak.
Yeah.
Whereas in this one,
struggle with moose and squirrel.
In this one, when they go back and meet up with him, and he's like controlling all those people in the Amazon, that is kind of fucked up and weird. But like,
very culty.
Yeah, but earlier in the movie, like you see where that character's coming from. Like he wants to help people, and it's like the frustration of like having to watch these people kill themselves when he has the power to stop it. That like kind of drives him to just like.
Yeah, and that's what I liked about the conflict of these characters is that, when they all have to come to this, big decision in the movie, it's like you kind of get everybody's, point that, there's like, well, if the Celestial rises up, it's going to destroy the planet, and, we can't let that happen. Then they have the other side, but if we stop that, we're going to stop other creations of galaxies, and this is what we're here for. And it was just kind of like, obviously I think there's a right answer, but it was like I understood both sides of that argument, and maybe not like. And the thing with Icarus,
I did not see that. I didn't see that coming. I was expecting.
I gotta say it's refreshing because everybody I've talked about this movie. Not Chandler. I don't think Chandler did, but like everyone else was like, "Oh, I saw that coming." I'm like, "Okay."
I saw it coming.
On your resume then.
I did.
I saw it coming.
I did put it
shortly before they had the scene. It's like right before they cut to him at Salma Hayek's house. Yeah. I was just like, something ain't right here, maybe. And then they're just like, "Oh, you knew," and I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, I only got that like in hindsight because like he was in the trailer at the house. So, like when we saw that she was dead, it was like, oh wait, what was he doing before that? Yeah.
Because after reading that comic, I was just expecting it to be like a Sprite again. If anybody had like a heel turn.
Yeah.
Well, and going kind of back to what Rob said about like, people loving Black Widow and ragging on this, I thought the stakes and the tension was so much greater in the Eternals because they're Eternals and they've been alive this whole time, but at no point are they immortal. You can see that they are limited. They have their individual abilities, but like, and they are limited by those abilities too. Like, so like they know that like they can't beat Icarus. Like they need like help, and they know these things. And there's something like that just makes you care more. I mean, because you didn't really feel that with Black Widow because you're like, okay, we know she's gonna get out of this, but
no, I mean, I agree with the stakes, and you almost kind of had the feeling that they weren't going to pull it off with just by how much of the Celestial was coming out. I'm like, are they gonna like?
That was horrifying.
When they said Marvel's gonna be a new direction, I'm like, is there not gonna be an Earth anymore? Like, is that the new thing we're gonna do?
I was half expecting there to just be a standing Celestial somewhere, kind of like in the X-Men.
Yeah, me too.
I thought there was gonna be like the standing dreaming Celestial. I did like. I don't think you guys ever read Earth X, but I know Eternals definitely took a lot from Eternals because, Earth X is the Marvel universe in the future where all the heroes are older. And you find out that there is a Celestial, just growing within the Earth, and that all of the superheroes were basically like the the antibodies, like that were just constantly trying to protect it. I know I'm not giving it justice, but that's sort of the premise of that book. And so it was kind of cool to see that, like, oh man, like it. But I think when the Celestial rose up, it didn't destroy the planet. Wasn't quite that big, but I was waiting for like the dreaming Celestial hanging out, waiting to wake up.
And Steven Universe had something similar with the emergence. Okay.
I kind of liked it how like they tied it to like human sentience and like development. Like the more we advance, like the closer we are to death, and it's like how Thanos kind of prevented that. So he's kind of like a weird hero in a way, but like that was like really nifty.
It was.
It was. I honestly I have very little negative comments about this movie. I thought it did a good job of because it's also setting up a franchise, because you got Dane Whitman played by Kit Harington. We all know he's going to be the Black Knight, the Black Swordsman. Back in black, Kit Harington. And I get it. So I did want to touch back on Icarus for a second, because in my knowledge and reading of the Eternals, he was kind of like their like leader, he was kind of like the adventurer, and in the game and run, he's the one that brings them all together and helping and wanting everybody to kind of rediscover their destiny. And so making him like the bad guy, kind of behind it all. Because I know you have the Deviants in there, but I didn't even consider them as like being like
the Deviants are like if they're like wild animals that just happen to be around while they're going on the adventure.
Yeah,
like there is the one who kind of can talk and stuff, but nobody gives a shit about that guy. It's just like
he just gained sentience and got murdered.
Yeah,
damn.
Yeah.
That scene was dope though, when Angelina Jolie just like
voiced by Skarsgård there, played Pennywise.
At the very end of the movie, it said Bill Skarsgård, and I was like, I bet he was the weird looking deviant.
Did the eye thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, join the Deviants. You'll float too. Okay, post-credit scene.
Which one?
The first one. Pip the Troll. I never thought I would see a live action Pip the Troll, especially now that like all the Infinity stuff is over, because he had a bigger part in the Infinity Gauntlet. I did thought for a second, like I was like having a weird fever dream when all of that was unfolding, because I was like, what? Is
that?
Do you remember what I was doing? I kept doing this, like, really,
like,
Pip?
Wait, is that? And I actually had to like lean over to Paul and just be like, is that who I think it is? Like, is that why?
Yeah.
For like a half second, I heard that's Patton Oswalt who's doing the voice, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, is this MODOK? For like a split second, and then I was just like, no, that's.
God.
We gotta ride the Howard the Duck wave.
Mm-hmm.
No, but just,
I mean, just introducing Pip and Star Fox, or whatever his name is, that like, and the Eternals. This whole movie is the most obscure of obscure. It's like,
oh yeah, and
like I still can't believe it. I still can't, like, Harry Styles. Is that
I was surprised by that too. I was actually surprised I hadn't heard it. I was surprised that wasn't spoiled for me.
Why is Harry Styles?
But I love how they were really
Weird.
pushing the brother of Thanos thing. Like they really wanted you to know that, like, which is kind of cool, because I feel like for those who don't know, I think people probably thought that the species that Thanos belonged to was that they were all big and purpley.
Mm-hmm.
But he was just like a mutation. But to do Eternals, I mean, it does make sense to bring up Thanos and Star Fox.
That shit was just random. It was so like I definitely thought that I was having like hallucinating or so. I was like,
thought I was gonna die.
I was like, did I just like, I don't know, do a shit ton of drugs before he came in here? Like, what is happening?
Yeah,
it's weird. Like, do we do some peyote before? Like, it was this weird. Like, I don't know. I'm still weird about like seeing Harry Styles. I was just like, why? I mean, not to say that he can't do it and that he's not going to be a good fit, because I don't know. I've never seen him act before. I just like, I barely heard any of his music. I'm just like,
I like Harry Styles' music.
Watermelon sugar.
I know that.
Thank you for the watermelon.
That is the only song I know that he has done. I mostly know him from his awesome Met Gala outfits. That's basically what I know him for. It's like, oh, it's the guy that wore a dress and like made a bunch of straight guys like lose their shit. That was like, I mean, I like him.
He was in One Direction too, right? Was that?
Yeah, I think so. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, yeah, like I'm old. I don't know these things anymore. Like,
I try to stay up on the boy bands, you know.
No, like, this was like Dune was the first time I've seen Timothée Chalamet like in a
wasn't
movie.
he in Little Women?
I didn't see that remake.
Is Timothée Chalamet also a pop star?
Winona Ryder all the way. I'm going for the 90s.
Well, the Eternals was great because they gave us Angelina Jolie and Salma Hayek, so it's like you get all the babes from the 90s coming back.
I gotta say, I was telling this to Angela afterwards that this is the first time where Angelina Jolie had me feel a certain way. I mean, I always thought she was pretty, but I don't know what's about this. I don't know. I was like, okay,
Never
Angelina.
I think
Angelina, I see you, girl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always. I mean, yeah, same thing. But I think for me, when I saw not Salt, was she in that the bullet spinning movie? Wanted.
Yeah, she was.
Okay.
Yeah, she was. Yeah,
in that one, I think.
Yeah.
But Salma Hayek, I mean.
Oh.
Salma Hayek's a beautiful woman.
Perfect.
She can be in everything.
She could break my nose, and I would be okay with it.
You would
think. Thank you.
But she plays the perfect like eternal mom in this movie.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, and when she died, I was just like, no, there's got to be.
She was so calm about it. She's like, "Oh, my poor Icarus."
Like, yeah, because you're like, "Oh, is Ajax like bad?" But then you're like, she's like, "No, you know, this is fucked up. We should save these people."
Yeah. No, it was. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about it. I don't understand the criticisms of it. That's so strange to me. It's bizarre. Like it almost kind of feels like, I don't know, just a lot of people not getting it.
Racism and sexism and like homophobia are real. And I'm not saying that people who don't like this movie are like, you know, are racist, sexist, and homophobic. But I am suggesting if there is like an unusual like hatred for this movie, that is something that you are going to have to internally look at and be like, why do I hate this? Do some shadow work, get a therapist, do what you need to do, because I can think of at least like just off the top of my head 5 other movies that should give you that like understandable reactive like vitriol, and this is not one of those movies. You know what I mean?
And you look at you and kind of going back to what you and Rob were saying, like you mean to tell me that this movie was worse than Thor: The Dark World, Iron Man 2, Age of Ultron, which were all movies I loved, but I know that like for a lot of people, like those movies are on the bottom.
Yeah,
of,
like this movie did things that no other Marvel movie has done. It's tackled like tones and like themes that no Marvel movie's ever done.
Ethics, existentialism,
exactly,
like religious, like the dogma, like just
like a family, like the relationships and stuff like
Hostel has a better rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Also, they were filmed in front of an actual sun outdoors.
Those are like real beaches.
Watch Thor Ragnarok, the scene where Odin is sitting on a fjord, and it literally looks like shit. It looks like they walked into a warehouse and they're like, "This is a fjord. Pretend."
Well, but in Taika Waititi's defense, you know, that was a reshoot that was forced on him because I was originally in an alleyway and I thought it was too depressing and too much like The Fisher King.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I get time, budget, right? Because I also thought that like, why not go to an actual fucking cliff
or go outside with a big blue wall that you can Photoshop whatever, but at least get some actual light. Like this movie, like it just looks so good. Like it's still like somewhat undersaturated like all the other Marvel movies are, but like still it just like it has like a more naturalistic feel just because they went outside.
Yeah. And you know, I love that you have like an Oscar winning indie filmmaker behind it. And the other thing too that people forget too is like, she made this pitch to Marvel when she was, when she was, kind of going into like position herself to get this job, was that she had to kind of give, this pitch. I feel like Eternals will be one of those movies that it'll age well. Mm-hmm. And I think
I honestly think the negative Rotten Tomatoes, it's just like angry. I bet, if we checked, it's just a bunch of angry white dudes because it's making a shit ton of money. Like, this is like the most successful movie since COVID times, I think. So clearly the greater population doesn't give a shit. They're going to see it. The audience reviews are all positive. Like, I've seen people that have been like, I don't know how to feel about it. And it's like, why? It's just like, I walked out of that and I was like, my biggest fear going into it was the fact that it was 2 hours and 40 minutes long. I was like, oh God. But at the end I was like, okay, yeah. Like,
I didn't even feel it. I mean, it was great.
I mean, everything felt like it was necessary. Like, I couldn't imagine anything being taken out of that.
Yeah, and I liked every character. So like, whenever it would jump to somebody else's kind of like a vignette of somebody else, I was down for it.
Yeah. No, I think people will I bet it'll be like kind of like other movies like Dark World and Age of Ultron, where people kind of like look back on it and kind of see like, the movie wasn't as bad as I thought it was when it first came out. It might be like that, but just I think stronger. That people will see all of the, but like, they'll see all the strengths. But again, audiences are already loving it.
It's coming off the heels of Shang-Chi, which was just like a roller coaster ride of fun.
Yeah.
So it's like two so different movies, both fantastic, but like,
and this wasn't the original release order.
I don't think so. I think Eternals is supposed to be first.
Yeah, like we were supposed to. Yeah, in a different timeline, we would already be owning a copy of Eternals on Blu-ray or digital, but it's not the timeline we're in.
Yeah, and like, I feel like I'll go back and watch Shang-Chi way more then I'll watch Eternals. But Eternals is one of those movies that I'm just gonna be like, oh yeah, Eternals, and then I'll just sit down and watch it someday, and I will enjoy it.
Yeah, I'll definitely be checking it out again.
Also,
I'm excited to see it again.
The MCU has officially shown a giant humanoid thing next to Earth. So Galactus, where you at? Having a big giant red man in the sky is not out of the bounds of possibility anymore.
I saw somebody online.
I love that scene.
Somebody did a Photoshop of like a celestial, but with like the Galactus fins, and I was like, they could totally do it.
At the end of that movie, when they were like showing like eyes in the sky, I'm like, oh fuck, maybe they'll hint at Galactus or some nonsense. But
I mean, they could do it, and we got Fantastic Four coming.
They're gonna do it. They have to do it at some point.
Yeah.
Like Galactus is
a really good looking movie. Just such a good looking movie. I can't get over it.
Yeah.
That and Harry Styles. Those are the two things I can't get over. That movie's looking good, and then that weird cutscene.
Yeah. I also like that we got a taste of Blade in this movie.
I didn't even know who that was at the end. I was like, what?
Well, nobody would have known until
was that his voice, Mahershala Ali? Yeah. I can never pronounce his name properly.
Yeah, when he's like, "Oh, you sure you want to do that, Mr. Whitman?" Yeah, that was Blade, and nobody would have known that unless like the director like came out and said like,
"This is Blade."
Yeah,
pretty much. Like one shot of him. That's all you had to do.
Yeah, I heard a great theory. Actually, one who wanted to be on the show tonight couldn't. He had a theory that like it'd be kind of cool if like Blade was like the Nick Fury of like this round of like post credit stuff where
like at half second it kind of sounded like a wrong Samuel L. Jackson. I was like, this is some weird scroll Nick Fury.
Yeah,
but then I saw online that was
it's
it's pretty supernatural, so I mean he's perfect.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see what they'll do with all of it, especially Black Swordsman. And I felt so bad for Kit Harington after Game of Thrones, so I'm happy that he's on the Marvel.
I don't know about this whole Morbius thing.
That's not. I mean, that's like Marvel adjacent. That's like some weird Sony bullshit.
That's the Sony multiverse. They can do their own thing.
Like it.
I mean,
talk about them.
Who was like, let's make a Morbius movie?
I don't know.
Just him, not him as a bad guy in a Spider-Man movie. Let's make a Morbius movie.
Somebody who was like, "Oh, let's work with Jared Leto."
Yeah, some
And they were
malls
like-
off from like
Some
1998.
crazy person.
They were, too, and they were like, "Oh, like what's something else we could do like Venom?" Well, I mean, he wears black and he has teeth.
You know who isn't like problematic and uncomfortable at all? Jared Leto. Let's work with this guy.
They should like
Ugh.
just make like weird Spider-Man things. Like let's get like the Silver Sable movie
Ooh.
and like
Ooh,
Silver
Sable would
Sable
be
and
kinda
Black Cat. Get some like cat girls.
Now,
Cat suit.
Yeah, fighting
Um,
crime, stealing stuff.
speaking of Spider-Man, did anybody see those leaks?
No.
I have it. I'm trying to hold off on leaks.
Alright.
I'll
So-
watch official trailers. That's
well,
where
we're
I'm at.
getting,
Now.
we're getting one tomorrow.
Really?
The Spider-Man trailer comes out. Yeah, they released a poster today of Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, and
I saw that. And some just
yeah.
I couldn't tell if somebody photoshopped green Goblin in the back or if that's part of the poster.
Nope, that's legit. Straight off of Marvel.com. Yeah. So
Even though you heard him in the last trailer, so it's not like it's a surprise.
well, that and you saw a pumpkin bomb. I mean, and it was the Ramy pumpkin bomb. I'm excited, and I'll be excited to talk about the trailer when next we meet. But yeah, go check out Eternals though. Fuck the critics. It was really good.
yeah, it's super good.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly don't know why you wouldn't like it.
Like sometimes I can.
If you're just like, I fucking hate ensembles.
Yeah, you don't have to like suck a dick to get entryway into like the actual theater. Like it's not. Calm down.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I can understand some critiques. You're like, oh, I can see your point. I couldn't see any of the arguments for this movie.
Nobody
Like,
brought up this critiques I had. It was all just like, I don't even know.
Yeah,
They're like,
no.
it was empty. It was bloated. I'm like,
What?
did you watch the last two Avengers movies? Those shits were bloated.
Right.
I loved them, but they're bloated.
I mean, I can understand if they're like, oh, I'm giving this like a 19%. Gorgeous, but vacant. And the fact that they made me like suck a dick before I left the theater was uncomfortable. You know, like I can get that.
The sad thing is that like if you did have to suck a dick, there is I would imagine like a certain market that would be all over that. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I gotta see this and suck
It's
a
like
dick.
it's like new 3D like movie technology, or like when they what was the thing that they did back in the 70s when they make your chairs vibrate, but it's like sucking a dick.
Oh, well, Dolby does that now.
The 40X, is that what it's called?
Oh, I was like, Dolby has a thing about dick sucking.
Oh, I don't think that's part of
The
the.
chair vibrating.
Yeah.
You just have these special glasses. And...
Wow, free movie. I just came for the dick.
I mean, if there was a choice, you could suck a dick or have your dick sucked. You know, I don't know. This took a weird turn.
It did.
Well, so
But,
anyway,
yeah, go check out Eternals. In the meantime, what are we enjoying right now? What books, movies, music, what have you?
I finished reading Project Hail Mary, which I talked about last week. It was a good time. If you're into sci-fi, that's kind of like a high school physics class at the same time. I recommend. I'm continuing to watch Cowboy Bebop. I'm like, I have 4 episodes left, but the movie, the Cowboy Bebop movie, takes place in between these 2 episodes, so I need to fit that in.
Oh,
It came out like 2 years after the series, and apparently I don't have to watch it, but my brain is like, I have to watch it in chronological order. But yeah, and I'm nervous for the Cowboy Bebop show to come out. The initial reviews are not good.
Uh-oh.
Maybe it's another one of those things. It's like, oh, they got more women and black people on screen. I hate that.
They're like, Spike was supposed to be white, Jet was supposed to be white, Faye's supposed to be white, and why can't I see her tits?
yeah, her boobs aren't big enough.
the
I can't
Corgi's
jerk off
supposed
to
to be
this.
white.
There's no cleavage. Ah!
You know, I mean, I wouldn't put it past some people.
I mean, really, when I think that they'll find when they do the shadow work and get a therapist, they'll be like, wow, that is what
they?
I think the casting looks great. Like, visually, the casting's great. I'm only familiar, I think, with John Cho, who's great. So
yeah, I'm excited. I mean, it's gonna be a thing.
I love the anime so much. So like, but I love a lot of anime that's been ruined by, I mean, not that I've seen it, but they made a Dragon Ball Z movie with a white dude.
I watched that. I will never get my life back. That was 2 hours down the drain.
Jesus.
That happened.
Just so.
Oh God.
Chandler, how about you?
I've been reading this book called Urban Shaman, which is pretty thematic because Eternals is a pretty spiritual-esque movie. So and it's just like they're teaching about like the Hawaiian style of shamanism, and it's mostly like it's not like super like esoteric. It's pretty practical and it's kind of like
Chandler, you're getting into shamanism?
I just read it on a whim.
Okay,
pretty
on a whim.
Chandler's like, I have this ayahuasca that I'm gonna try to start giving out to people.
No, because like we were talking the last time we were chatting, he was really into astrology, and so I called him Chandler Damas, and now he's an astrologer and a shaman. So that's what we're. That's your new title.
It's a pretty interesting book. I mean, like obviously. Glean what you will from it. It's it's interesting. That's all I have to say.
No, I think I've heard of it. I actually would like to pick it up.
How about you, Angela? Do you want to talk about what you've been reading?
Dune. I've been reading Dune.
That's it.
Well, I mean, it takes you like at least 3 years to get through half the book. So
man.
Yeah, no, like I read
it. Machete. My God.
Seriously, I read it all through work for 3 days straight, and then I still had 9 hours left.
Wow. The audiobook.
For the audiobook, sorry.
Wow.
I wasn't like grooming dogs and like reading at the same time. Those are some terrible haircuts. But no, I love it. I'm into it. I'm doing the deep dive.
Yeah, I mean, the movie was really good.
I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the movie.
Yeah.
I didn't think I would. I'm going to be honest, but I liked it so much that it made me actually like try it with the book. And so here we are.
Yeah.
A sexy psychic ninja politician.
Yeah. No, I enjoyed it, but I also liked the director. Was it Dennis Villeneuve? Him too.
And Roger Deakins was a cinematographer, which is what I really want to just look at that movie.
It's a gorgeous movie. Yeah. I like gorgeous movies.
Yeah. And it was just really, really well done. Great production. The acting was great. It's got a great cast. So check it out on HBO Max while you can. We're in the theater. So we watched Dune. And apart from that, the only kind of thing I'm doing is still on my trek through the X books.
Where are you now?
Schism.
Oh.
And
I have thoughts about Schism.
Girl, we gotta talk because I'm gonna be real with you right now. It's trash.
It's dumb. It's
fucking dumb. I couldn't believe just how this is.
It's like, why Wolverine versus Cyclops? It should have been at least like Cyclops versus Storm. Like,
but
why would
even like their like point of view, like their perspective is like, I don't know. It's very
we should teach the children. We should militarize the children.
It was just like, well, we need reasons to have more X books. So Wolverine can have his X-Men, Cyclops can have his, but it's rushed. It's heavy-handed. I mean, like, I think my favorite is Bobby Iceman is sitting on the beach and Wolverine walks out of literally fucking nowhere with like ninja stars and like arrows in his chest, and Bobby's like, "Oh, rough night," and Wolverine's like, "No, just like any other night." And then he like goes up to Utopia, and there are like a bunch of kids waiting for him, and he finds out that he has combat training, and Wolverine's like, "Why am I teaching combat training?" Like it was just like weird,
doing this for decades.
Yeah, like why now do you give a shit about like
the curriculum?
Well, Wolverine's always been like, if like, oh geez, I'm too young to fight, but I want to fight for what I believe, and Wolverine's like, that a boy. That'll put some hair on your chest.
Yeah, now he's like, you don't want none of this shit, kid.
Yeah, it was just really weird. Like, oh, let them be kids. And at one point they were like, oh, Wolverine says, don't you have like, it's really sexist and patronizing where he talks to one girl and he's like, combat training, shouldn't you be playing with dolls? And she was like, well, I'm 15. And the one doll I did have, the villagers burned it because I thought I was a fucking witch. And then later on, Wolverine buys her a fucking doll and gives it to her. And even she's like, what am I gonna do with this?
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, it was just really like,
this is who you are now.
Yeah, so stupid. So it's just, yeah, so Wolverine's like, let the kids be kids, and Cyclops is, like,
we're at war.
It was just really fucking, like, if I feel like it was just, it wasn't consistent. And now that I've read all these fucking X-Men books, I feel like, yeah, just really, because that's not what they were about, Wolverine or Cyclops. It's like, no, we don't want to like militarize you, but you should know how to defend yourself because people want you fucking dead. So you should have some capability to defend yourself, to use your power, and that just felt like it was like a Civil War ripoff.
Yeah, it was dumb.
In a first draft of a ripoff. Like, it was just
characters that nobody cares about. Also,
in the second issue, I forget, they're like in the Middle East somewhere, and the art, who's the artist? Frank Cho, who ordinarily like. No, listen, I'm just come out and say it.
He has his moments.
I mean,
not my cheesecakey Frank Cho.
I know that he draws some great cheeks, but besides the point, they're like kind of like buck-toothed, cross-eyed fucking Middle Easterners. Like, it's just like,
what the fuck?
It's not good. It's not a good look. They're like, oh, not only do we not like gay people, we don't like mutants. And it's like, they may as well have been like, I don't know. It's pretty bad. It's like, yeah. So read it. Go check it out. But Chandler, if you ever want to do a book club review of Schism, I would love to, because I need more conversations with other people about X-Men. So yeah. So but otherwise, Schism. It is what it is, and that's what I'm reading.
It's divisive.
And I'm this far down the fucking rabbit hole that like I have to finish it.
I mean, you're almost contemporary. I mean, go for
Schism was what, like 12 years ago, or even more recent?
Like 2011.
Yeah, 2011. Yeah, different time, different world.
Yeah, I didn't read any of Schism. I remember like going to the shop and like seeing like Cyclops and Wolverine like, arr, and I was like, nah.
Yep, and I can't wait to be disappointed with AVX.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's what, like Schism, AVX, then the little kids come back.
I don't know. Although I don't
like with
remember,
Bendis or whatever.
I don't remember hating AVM, but I just have a feeling the more that I know now with the books that I've read, that like I might not be a big fan of this one either.
I never read the full thing. I read a parody comic of it. It was just like way better. It was way better.
It's just like,
I'll send it to you.
Please, I would love to read it. It's just, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just think the whole like just the Civil War thing, I think that is like they just try to milk that tea dry. Like and again, it just felt like rushed and like, why are you caring now? Like, the Avengers didn't give a shit about Phoenix before.
Right.
All of a sudden, dude, now all of a sudden Captain America is okay with arresting an innocent girl for not having done anything.
Right. For being redheaded on a Friday.
For real. That being said, stay tuned for more of that delicious, I will assume it'll be a delicious conversation. But yeah, in the meantime, y'all know the drill. Drop us some love on iTunes. We're on Instagram, other social media like places. Like, subscribe, do the things that you do with other people that you follow, and
suck dick responsibly. Bye.
Oh, actually, what? Yeah, I'm not gonna do that tribute after that. I'll do it next time. But yeah, have fun exploring the graphic multiverse.